At first glance, the BMW 2002 looked almost too sensible to become a legend. But beneath that clean little body was a car with hot rod thinking, turbocharged attitude, sharp handling, and one of the most important personalities in BMW history. Subscribe if you love classic car documentary. Today, we're revealing the hidden details that made the 2002 far more than just a small saloon. The turbo badge that arrived at the worst possible time. There was something almost defiant about the BMW 2002 Turbo the moment it appeared at the Frankfurt Motor Show in September 1973. Here was a compact German saloon with a turbocharged 2.0-litre engine, around 170 brake horsepower, and a top speed of more than 130 miles per hour, arriving just as the oil crisis was beginning to change the mood of the entire motoring world. Unlike most performance cars of its era, it did not look enormous or exotic. It looked lean, tense, and faintly mischievous. The turbocharger gave the little 2002 a savage surge that made it feel far quicker than its size suggested. That performance made the car thrilling, but it also made its timing awkward. In an age suddenly obsessed with restraint, the 2002 Turbo became a symbol of old-school excess, and that tension is exactly what made it unforgettable. The mirror-written warning. BMW had to hide. One of the most distinctive features of the 2002 Turbo was also one of its most controversial, the famous 2002 Turbo script printed in reverse across the front spoiler. It was a brilliantly cheeky idea because drivers ahead would read it correctly in their rearview mirrors just before the little BMW came charging up behind them. On paper, it was simple branding. In practice, it felt like a challenge. The benefit was not mechanical, but psychological. It turned the nose of the car into a declaration of intent and gave the Turbo an attitude few European saloons had ever worn so openly. Yet that same swagger arrived at the worst possible cultural moment when public opinion was turning against speed and extravagance. So, the detail that could have become the car's most famous calling card also became something BMW had to tone down. The car that was born from an internal hot rod secret. What makes the BMW 2002 so fascinating is that it did not begin as a clean-sheet corporate master plan. Its spirit came from a far more exciting idea. Take the light. Compact 1600-2 and slip in the stronger 2.0-litre engine from the bigger Neue Klasse saloons. It was, in essence, an internal hot rod recipe. That simple change transformed the car. Suddenly, BMW had a machine that was still small enough for crowded European streets, yet strong enough to feel genuinely fast and eager. It gave drivers more torque, more flexibility, and far more personality than the modest dimensions suggested. The practical benefit was obvious: everyday usability with real pace. But emotionally, it meant even more. The 2002 felt less like a product of committee thinking and more like a happy act of engineering rebellion. A family box with the reflexes of a sports car. From a distance, the BMW 2002 looked almost too sensible to be special. It had crisp lines, upright glass, a tidy boot, and the neat proportions of a practical two-door saloon. But the strange magic of the car was that it drove nothing like the ordinary family transport its shape seemed to promise. The steering was alive, the chassis felt balanced, and the whole car reacted with a sharpness that made many sports cars of the late 1960s seem clumsy. This clever design gave owners something rare: room for luggage, decent visibility, and everyday comfort without sacrificing real driver involvement. It was compact but effective in the most important way. The 2002 taught people that a useful road car could still feel thrilling, and that idea helped define not only its character, but an entire BMW philosophy, the mechanical injection that made the T feel alive. If the standard 2002 was lively, the 2002 Thai felt as though someone had sharpened every response with a fine engineer's file. Its secret was the Kugelfischer mechanical fuel injection system, one of those rare pieces of old-school engineering. That sounds complicated, but makes perfect sense once you feel it on the road. Instead of relying on a simpler carburetor setup, the TII used a more precise method of delivering fuel, which improved throttle response, efficiency, and the crispness of the engine's character. The benefit was not just more power on paper, it was the way the car answered your right foot instantly, especially in the middle of the rev range, where a good road car spends most of its life. That mechanical sharpness gave the TIE a heartbeat all its own, and it remains one of the purest expressions of analog BMW engineering. The tiny BMW that built America's obsession with the brand. Long before BMW became a familiar premium badge across the United States, the 2002 was quietly doing the hard work. It was small by American standards, almost delicate next to the V8 saloons and coupes filling showrooms in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Yet that was exactly why it stood out. The 2002 offered something different: compact dimensions, crisp performance, a rev-happy four-cylinder, and a feeling of precision that many larger cars simply could not match. For American drivers, the practical benefit was clear. It was easier to place on the road, lighter on its feet, and more rewarding in corners. But its deeper importance was emotional. This modest little BMW introduced an entire market to the idea that driving pleasure could come in a compact package. And that helped turn America into one of the brand's most important homes. The old car that forced BMW to invent its future. By the mid-1970s, the BMW 2002 was no longer a new idea, and that is exactly why its final role in BMW history is so compelling. Its basic shape had been around for years, yet the car was still so admired that replacing it was not as straightforward as it should have been. Early thinking about its successor did not satisfy everyone inside BMW, so the 2002 stayed in production until 1976, buying the company crucial time to define what came next. The practical advantage of that delay was simple. BMW avoided rushing the wrong replacement into the market. The historical meaning was far bigger. The 2002 became the bridge between the old Neue Klasse spirit and the first 3 Series, the E21. In that sense, it did more than enjoy a long life. It forced BMW to get its future right. The BMW 2002 was more than a compact classic. It was the little machine that gave BMW its modern soul, from clever engineering to turbocharged controversy and a legacy that led straight towards the 3 Series. Click to watch more stories about classic British cars and forgotten motoring icons. Like, subscribe, and tell us what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.